Shall we, Under the Duvet, shall we talk about...
Did you know my kryptonite is awkward men?
Why is that? Is it guilt?
Should we talk about some other horrible, horrible government bureaucrats who are fucking the country over?
Yes, please. Oh, fuck, yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Ask yourself, what is the point of saying that?
Not in this economy.
Try harder, be better.
I haven't yet watched Fight Club.
Have you seen what Candace Owens has done recently?
No, but tell me.
It's going to make you laugh.
I'm prepared.
She's, obviously Candace Owen, right-wing pundit, if you can even call her that. She just seems to have made a career out of being outrageous, kind of like a Katie Hopkins character, but she's more politically aligned.
She's like a black Katie Hopkins. That's
it. Right. She has no real political qualification or whatever. I mean, but also neither do we, so whatever. Who the fuck might say that? Anyway, what has happened recently, she was number one trending on Twitter this morning.
Oh, God. That's never a good thing.
This time it is, because it's extremely funny.
Oh.
So a journalist called Ken Klippenstein, who's like famous troll, got Republican senators, I think, members of Congress, to retweet a picture by being like, oh, like my granddad, because it was Memorial Weekend, right?
Oh, no.
So this is my granddad's a veteran, like he's such a huge fan of yours, so would you please retweet this image of him, blah, 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 and hoodwinked several politicians into retweeting a picture of Lee Harvey Oswald in his like Marine uniform.
Oh my God.
And Candace Owens, she, found this absolutely appalling. And she said, it's not political correctness to have a soul and a modicum of decency. Reminder, these men have died, capital letters. You don't Photoshop murderers into their uniforms. And then obviously the entirety of Twitter reminded Candace Owens that Lee Harvey Oswald was in fact a Marine. So it's an actual picture of him being in a Marine's uniform, and she just she totally embarrassed herself, like completely
oh God,
face plant.
She's so
awful embarrassment.
She's just, that sums her up though, just an awful embarrassment of a person. I cannot stand Candace Owens. Oh my God, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? That's hysterical, though. I love that. That's like when somebody got Donald Trump to retweet that picture of Fred and Rose West.
Exactly. Which just...
Mwah.
Chef's kiss. So
Perfect.
Good. So good.
Perfect.
So funny. So that led me down a bit of a Candace Owens rabbit hole. And she's doing a lot of vaccine tweeting.
Oh, I bet.
She's calling the vaccine experimental. And she had some post taken down, probably just spreading lies about the vaccine, whatever. And then she's like, thinking is not allowed in a totalitarian state. What? I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I
Candace.
think thinking is clearly you're not doing any thinking, Candace. Clearly that's not what's happening for you. But it's not the totalitarian state that is stopping you thinking critically, unfortunately. Fuck me.
No.
Ugh. I mean, yeah, it's just sad because it's just very lucrative for her. She's just making loads of money being a total dickhead, so she's never going to stop. And that's it.
Yeah, she's got a book coming out.
Oh, of course she does. Of course she does. Because, yeah, why not? Why not? Oh my God, I can't. That just makes me so miserable. Of all the people, of all of the, fucking women of colour who could be getting attention, it's bloody Candace Owens. I cannot stand that bitch. Fuck's sake. I don't know. Speaking of America, and speaking of horrible things that have happened there, like Candace Owens, I don't know. Should we talk a little bit about the Tulsa race massacre?
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Okay.
Shall we? So basically, I didn't actually know anything about the Tulsa race massacre until probably this time last year, after George Floyd happened. And then people sort of was talking about it. And obviously people were talking about it before, but it was just the first time I had realised this had happened. And I say people were talking about it before. This thing I'm about to tell you happened in 1921, actually on the 31st of May. So literally the anniversary for it is as we're recording this, yesterday. So that's something. And that's why I bring it up. Guess what? This massacre wasn't made compulsory to be taught in public schools in Oklahoma as history class until 2019.
Wow, that's really shocking.
Yeah. So basically what happened, for those of you who don't know or didn't know about it, this is a quick summation of what happened. So it happened about 100 years ago, like I said, and essentially in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was an area called the Greenwood District that was known as Black Wall Street. And people may have heard that term before. Like, again, it wasn't something I was familiar with, but basically it was where essentially the wealthiest black community in America lived. And they had all these black-owned shops, like doctor surgeries, everything. Like, they were just people who lived there, were very, like, upper middle-class black people because of the industry that they had built within the specific area of Tulsa. And apparently, if what had happened next hadn't happened, a lot of those people would now be millionaires and billionaires and have generations of inherited wealth, which is one of the things that a lot of people of color and black people in Western society don't have because of things like this. So essentially what happened is on the 31st of May and the 1st of June, which is actually today, there you go, so it happened over 2 days. I don't know why I sound so excited about that, apart from the time thing. In 1921, a bunch of white armed Americans broke into this area, so 35 blocks of this district, and set fire to it and just caused an absolute riot. They killed almost 40 people, with almost all of those people being black, and injured over 800 people. And 6,000 of the black residents were actually locked up for days after this. And essentially what happened is they just burnt down all these businesses. No compensation was given to any of the black store owners, only to one white store owner, where the mob broke into his store to steal guns to go and do the rioting. He was the only one who received any compensation. So basically the reason that this all kicked off was on the 30th of May 1921, so the day before the riots, a 19-year-old black man was accused of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old white female shop worker. He didn't do it, and actually the girl didn't say he did it. She just said he grabbed my arm, but apparently he said I accidentally stepped on her foot, and she screamed. And people fucking lost their shit. The headlines the next day were "Nab Negro for attacking girl in elevator," which led to this mob of hundreds of white men, including police officers, turning up in this neighborhood to burn it the fuck down. So yeah, it's pretty horrendous. Like, it doesn't look like any kind of reparations have been made to this day. Apparently, like $1,000 was given to 173 descendants of Greenwood residents sometime in the 2000s, but that's about it. And yeah, isn't that
That's
just
appalling?
It's appalling. And essentially the government just completely covered it up. Nothing was ever done. Not one single person who took part in this mob or in this massacre was held accountable. And yeah, just to reiterate, 40 black people were killed in this riot, and 800 people were injured, and all of these buildings were burnt down, and it completely stripped any wealth and opportunity out of a black community who had created it for themselves. So yeah, there you go. It comes back to our monopoly theory that we threw out a while back, monopoly analogy. So yeah, that's pretty bummer, isn't it?
That is a bummer.
But yeah,
I didn't know anything about it either, which I suppose, small wonder considering it was only taught in even American schools in the 2000s. That's mad.
That is madness. But yeah, there you go. Bring it up, like I said, because it's the anniversary, and it's just a horrific thing that happened in history. And go read about it, go learn about it. Al Jazeera did a pretty good mini documentary about it over the weekend, so go check that out. It's probably on YouTube.